Lefebvre frequently clashed with his Vatican Council. Oh boy. Lefebvre frequently clashed with the Vatican. Lefebvre frequently As many of you know, I am a heavy user of Twitter. In my current hermit state, I use Twitter as a means of connecting to like-minded people in the outside world. The exchanges provide me with some level of support and allows me to express myself in a way that I am unable to do so in my present situation. At the beginning of this year, I tweeted my resolution to avoid using the word heretic in my tweets. In my view, resorting to name-calling as a method to win an argument indicates there was little substance to one's position in the argument in the first place. What I have observed is that the words heretic and heresy are too readily used by hyper-Orthodox Catholics who too easily jump to conclusions on ideas they do not fully understand. Those who indiscriminately throw these terms around do so out of hostility and do not fully comprehend what heresy really is. My understanding is that heresy signifies a departure or a separation from an established doctrine or dogma, and that one who ascribes to this line of thought is a heretic. In Catholicism, professing beliefs that are blatantly contrary to Catholic teaching separates oneself from the mainstream of the Church. In the early Church, heresies arose regarding the dual natures of Christ, his divinity and humanity existing together in what is called the hypostatic union. That Jesus was and is fully human and fully divine is a non-negotiable article of Christian faith. Jesus is not half human and half divine, nor is he 75% human and 125% divine. No, fully human, fully divine. The union of the Godhead and the humanity of Jesus and how it played out while he walked the earth is a great mystery. Many of the Church's great thinkers and theologians have tried to explain it. To this day, it remains a challenge to speak about the divinity of Christ without sometimes compromising his humanity, and conversely, speaking about the humanity of Christ is difficult without risk of slighting his divinity. Although there exists a continual tension in reflecting upon this mystery, doing so can provide great benefits to prayer and intimacy with Jesus. This mystery should awaken our faith, not scare it away. It is 8 months into 2018, and I am witnessing a very clear division within the American Catholic Church today. There are many Catholics in the United States who identify themselves as traditional Catholics. These people make no secret of certain beliefs and assumptions they hold. Many quite openly express their opposition to Pope Francis and to the reforms of the Second Vatican Council. I have identified a collection of beliefs that are in opposition to mainstream Catholicism, which would justify labeling this line of thought as the heresy of traditionalism. The following are doctrines that I have identified as dear to those who self-identify as traditional or trad Catholics based on their Twitter feeds. Number 1. The Second Vatican Council was a rupture in authentic Catholic tradition, and the resulting liturgical reforms produced an irreverent Protestant Mass greatly inferior to pre-Vatican II rites. Number 2. Pope Francis is teaching error and causing confusion in the Church. Number 3. Cardinals and bishops appointed by Pope Francis are tainted by liberalism, and certain priests, such as Jesuit Father James Martin, are diluting the Orthodox Catholic faith and leading souls to hell. Number 4. Pro-life means the criminalization of abortion as a priority above all other issues such as poverty, welcoming refugees, health care as a right, ending the death penalty, serving the marginalized, caring for the environment as taught by Pope Francis in Gaudete et Exsultate. Number 5. Muslims are not to be trusted as they profess a violent religion that breeds terrorists. Number 6. The Church's child abuse scandals are the direct result of seminaries admitting and enabling candidates with homosexual tendencies. These are just a sampling of the beliefs that I have gleaned from trad Catholic Twitter profiles and tweets. Like so many other people who defend and uphold the teachings of the Second Vatican Council and remain loyal to Pope Francis, I have often been trolled by such people on Twitter. Very often their comments to my tweets are mean and insulting. How did we get to this place of such division and discord? The Traditionalist movement began soon after the Second Vatican Council. The primary Traditionalist mover was Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre, who objected to several documents promulgated at the Council, not least of which was Sacrosanctum Concilium regarding the reform of the liturgy. In 1970, Lefebvre formed the Society of St. Pius X, which attracted seminarians who wanted to continue pre-Vatican II liturgical practices. Lefebvre frequently clashed with the Vatican by refusing to accept the Council reforms. Lefebvre and his society were eventually excommunicated by Pope John Paul II in 1988 after Lefebvre ordained 4 bishops without authorization from the Holy See. Lefebvre died in 1991. Another movement that arose in reaction to Vatican II reforms was the Sede Vacantist movement. Sede vacante is Latin for the seat is vacant or empty, and is used to describe the interim period between the death or resignation of a pope, the chair of Peter being vacant, until the election of a successor. Those calling themselves Sede Vacantists claim that the chair of Peter has been vacant for some time because popes for many decades were invalidly elected. Some claim that the Church has been without a pope since the death of Pius X in 1914, but the most popular claim goes back to 1958 at the death of Pius XII. A popular theory believed by some Sede Vacantists is that Cardinal Siri was validly elected Pope in 1958, but was subsequently coerced into renouncing the papacy for political reasons. This Siri thesis holds that the election of John the 23rd that allegedly followed was invalid. These Sede Vacantists believe that all conclaves from 1958 on were invalid and that popes elected after this time were impostors. Though many traditionalists would not consider themselves Sede Vacantists, there persists the idea that the Second Vatican Council, called by Pope St. John the 23rd, was a disruptor of the Catholic faith. Many will go so far as to say that it was the work of the devil. I do not mean to label self-described traditionalists as heretics, nor would I suggest that they are going to hell for their views. They might say that I'm going to hell, but I wouldn't say this about them. There are, however, stark differences between the mainstream post-Vatican II Catholic Church under the leadership of Pope Francis and the ideas put forward by those proudly carrying the traditionalist label. I believe it is important to point out the stark contrast to authentic church teaching in this line of thought. As far as presenting a counter-argument to the traditionalist doctrine, I need only point to my two-part video, Monastic Musing 2, Ecclesiology 101. There I describe how authority works in the Catholic Church, both papal authority and the authority of church councils. Addressing the list of traditionalist doctrines one by one would take several videos, which I do plan to produce in the not-too-distant future, particularly regarding the liturgy and liturgical reforms. Thank you for watching my latest monastic musing. I try to produce one each week. Please like, subscribe, select the notification bell, and share my video with your friends. Also visit my website, www.ourladyofrefugemonastery.org. Peace be with you.